about how I got a chance to be on an exchange program. Being one of those notorious backbenchers, I have never ever thought of being on an exchange program to Japan. So yeah, here it started. There was this normal day at school, and I remember we got an announcement in the assembly about we have a Japanese program for a 1 year exchange where students can apply and there we'll have interviews. And finally, one student from all over India will get a chance to get this fully funded scholarship. I was really fascinated with this program because I always dreamt of being on an exchange program. Not on an exchange program, but yeah, go to a foreign country, of course. I wanted to apply for this program the same day, but what took me a step back was the fact that only one person from all over India would be selected for the same. But yes, finally I got the courage of applying for the program, and I did. Luckily, my form got selected, and guess what? The day of the interview came. My question answer session was going pretty well. All my answers were pretty confident from my side, and I was really sure that I'm going to make it. But there was this one question which came up that how will a vegetarian person will survive in a country like Japan? The interviewer asked me that Athar, are you open to non-vegetarian food? I said, ma'am, what? She said, are you open to non-vegetarian food? I got a little confused. I was thinking that I was confident throughout my interview, but here I'm actually speechless. I couldn't answer her. I told her that, ma'am, I need some time. And then she said, get back to us in a day or so. So the same day, I was sitting with my family and I was just talking to them about this program. My dad, being really religious and being from a Brahmin family, wasn't really happy that why am I even asking for it? My mother, she actually laughed at me, saying, you don't even eat green vegetables here, how would you eat non-vegetarian food there? And my sister, yeah, she supported me. But the next day I called up the organization myself and I said, I'm sorry ma'am, I cannot hurt my parents' sentiments. I'm not sure if I'll be open to have non-vegetarian food. The interviewer replied that Athar, are you really sure that you won't have non-vegetarian food? I said, ma'am, I'm sorry. She said again that this might really affect the selection process because food is one of those important criteria for any selection process to Japan for our exchange program. There was a minute of silence, I remember. But then I said, I'm sorry, ma'am. I'm not sure if I'll have able to if I'm not sure if I'll be able to have non-vegetarian food. As soon as the call ended up, there was a minute of silence. And I was trying to convince myself that Athar, this was never your cup of tea. Days passed and I was back to my normal life. After a month, I was just scrolling down my social media randomly, and there was this notification which popped up in my phone. It was a mail from AFS India which said, congratulations, Atharva Vyas, you have been selected for a fully funded scholarship to Japan. Oh God, I cannot tell you in words what that feeling was. I was so happy about it, but nervous at the same time because I was totally unaware of the unknown world I'm going to step in. In my subsequent conversations with the authorities, I asked, confessed basically that I won't be able to I won't be open to non-vegetarian food. Are you sure about my selection? I was actually questioning my selection to them. But the answer they gave me was something very unbelievable, and that gave me goosebumps. They said, Athar, we need a person like you who can actually showcase what we Indians are. How affirm we stand on our choices, and how we keep our morals high. That's what actually personifies the title of my talk, that is, expect the unexpected. This is the actual story of my life when it all started. I was not expecting my selection the day I ended up that call the other day. Till the time I got this mail from AFS India that said, congratulations, Athar. I cannot put in words what that feeling was. After all that experience, I've come to a point where I realize there are 4 pillars of strength which have helped me throughout my exchange program. Now, it's been 3 years, 4 years since I'm back, and I realize that these 4 pillars are actually keeping me going. They still keep me going. You might be wondering what these 4 pillars are. Let me tell you, these 4 pillars aren't just big terms. These aren't big terms. These are some of the words we probably use in daily lives. These are some of the words which we have imbibed from our culture, but are pretty unaware of its powers. These are respect, adjust, patience, and appreciate. These are the 4 pillars which I feel have helped me throughout and are still helping me. Let's start with respect first. I remember I recollected this quality of mine while I was on exchange. I'll share with you a small story of when I reached Japan. I was on my first international flight. A person who always wanted to go to a foreign country was on his first flight to Japan. I reached there at Narita Airport, one of the biggest airports we have. As soon as I reached there, the land of rising sun, Japan, had left me a little disoriented. I was so mesmerized by seeing the foreigners there that I got a little disoriented about what to do next. When I reached there, I was confused. I was told that I had to reach the immigration counter, but I was not sure that where should I go from. There was this Japanese person on my flight. I thought of reaching out to him and asking him, what is the procedure next? I reached out to him and I was trying to ask him in English, but he couldn't understand me. I was saddened by the fact that I'm not able to explain him, so I started moving from there. But I realized that the person is running towards me and he came with a Google Translator on his phone. He said, please, show, right. I wrote the immigration counter which got translated in Japanese, and he accompanied me to the immigration counter out of his way. Because I was a foreigner, I need to go through the immigration counter, but he was a normal resident, a citizen of Japan. He took me to the immigration counter, he helped me pick up my bag. And as soon as I reached there, I was just keeping my bags down just to thank him and bow down, because that's what the only thing I knew about Japanese people, to thank them and bow them. But as soon as I turned back, he had already left. That was something unbelievable. That was the point I realized that Japan has something so much for me that I'm going to really enjoy my stay here. It actually showed that the people are not so interested in having the credit of what they did. They know the happiness in the art of giving. What I want to tell you from this whole story is the fact that respect is a two-way phenomenon. If you give respect, you'll automatically gain respect from people. And this is one of the aspects when you try to bond, to have a new relationship with any new person. We come to the second pillar of strength, that is adjust. It is okay to adjust. So, it was the 3rd month of mine in Japan, and I was sitting in my room. My host mother, she knocked the door and she said, Atharva, the dinner is ready. As one of those normal days, I went to my dinner table. But what was actually different was the fact that there was a beautiful purple color octopus right there on my table. Yes, a beautiful purple color octopus. It actually fascinated me at first. Yes, wait. Until and unless it started moving. It actually started moving. That was the weirdest part ever. We were just waiting for my host dad and my host brother to join us. And as soon as they joined us, my host mother, she took a knife and she sliced it. And what next? Guess what next? The sliced part was also moving. Oh God, that was so creepy, I tell you. I didn't know how to react to that because I had never ever seen something like that. People eating fish, people eating chicken in front of me was pretty normal for me. But someone eating an octopus which has sensation was something very weird. That was funny, that was creepy, and that was very weird. But what I realized at that point of time was the fact that when I reached Japan, sorry, before when I reached Japan, I had mailed my host family about my eating choices. I told them that I'm a vegetarian person, I'm not sure if I'll be open to non-vegetarian food. The reply my family had sent me, they said, Athar, it's totally fine. We have a farm nearby our house and we together grow fresh vegetables and we eat vegetables. At that point of time when I saw that octopus moving was the time I realized that if they are ready to respect my culture, my eating habits, who am I to react in a negative manner? That was something which is called adjustment. No matter what, you have to adjust because it is okay to adjust. And until and unless you don't step in other person's shoe, you won't even know that what the other person is trying to say. There are always two faces of a coin which you have to see. And as soon as you'll try respecting the other person's opinion, you'll come on the same page. And that will actually help you grow. Now, we have the third aspect, that is patience. You all might be knowing about the earthquakes and the floods there in Japan. It was 2015 when they had one of the most dangerous floods in Japan. And believe me, boy, I was a part of it. I was a part of it. What I have realized after staying there for a year is the fact that Japanese people are the epitome of patience. They have so much of patience in themselves. In every situation, they know what is the actual result of keeping and being patient. After experiencing a couple of earthquakes there in Japan, I realized that thinking about what will happen next, if I'll die or whatever will I do, will not help me. What helped me will be the fact that I'm patient right now. Patient to every situation. There were many things which hampered my exchange. There was the food barrier because I was a vegetarian. There was a language barrier because I didn't know Japanese. I remember my first days when I was trying to talk to the Japanese people, but I couldn't. The third was the natural calamities, of course, the earthquakes. I remember the first earthquake I experienced was on my birthday. I thought it was spoiled. But that is in my memory now. And probably that was one of my best birthdays, I'm telling you. The fourth thing, which actually hampered my situation right there, was the extreme weather conditions. A person from Indore, Madhya Pradesh, who had never seen snow in his life, was actually going to the university on his bicycle in -5 degrees. Oh God, such a tough situation it was. I still remember I called up my dad and I said, Dad, I'm not able to do it. I want to come back. It's getting very hard for me. One thing my dad told me was the fact that some days before you were only telling me that how Japanese people keep patience in every situation. You're anyway not going to die. You'll have to face it. You're actually representing your country. Is this what you want to represent? Are these the bases the authorities have selected you? And that actually hit me. I kept that patience and I was there for the whole year. So the moral of the story is, patience is the key to every hard situation, every difficult situation you guys are facing. We come to the next pillar of strength. That is, appreciate. You might be thinking, why appreciate? I'll share you a small story. I have a lot of stories, please don't mind. So, one of those stories are, I was riding to my university on my bicycle on a bridge. There was this bridge I was crossing. And there was this old lady in her mid-60s who was coming down from the other side. It appeared that the lady was a little giddy and suddenly she fell down on the she suddenly fell down. She hit her head on the bridge. I knew the traffic rules were pretty strict there, but I couldn't resist myself helping her. I crossed the road from the between and didn't even think of what the traffic rules were. I went to her. I offered her some water as soon as she gained some consciousness. I was trying to help her out. I wanted to help her out, but I didn't know what to do next. Finally, I got this attention of a policeman crossing by. I waited till the ambulance came and I left. This whole episode was about 20 to 25 minutes and not more than that. After these 25 minutes, I was back on my road to my university. And when I went to my university, I saw each and every one of them clapping for me. All my students, all my co-students, all my teachers, everyone was clapping for me. I was so shocked. I was so shocked about the fact that how do these people know about it? Their appreciation for a small act of mine made me overwhelmed. Later I got to know that the policeman who was there, he actually saw my ID card and he informed the school that this was the student who helped the lady out there. Appreciation is something which grows your bond stronger. And remember, after that day, I was interacting with more of the students there because their appreciation was making me do things which yielded such a response. The fourth pillar I am talking about, appreciation, is very necessary in any of your bonds you have, any of the new bonds you make. All these four pillars, respect, patience, adjust, and appreciation, are somewhat related not just to a person like me who went on an exchange, but to you guys, but to everyone who is about to make new relationships, new bonds with people. The conclusion of my story is, if you're patient enough to adjust and adapt in any situation, you would automatically earn respect and appreciation. Thank you so much.